I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. Flagler County is solidifying plans to assist with the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine once it becomes available to the public in the coming months. John Arking has an update.
The first round of COVID-19 vaccines has arrived in Florida, according to Flagler County Emergency Management Director Jonathan Lord.
Unfortunately, it's only a trickle at this time, but we expect to be more and more every week. About 180,000 doses were received in Florida and distributed, and they were sent to priority areas at large hospital systems around the state. And in the coming weeks, we're expecting some vaccines to end up here in Flagler County. And those individuals that will be vaccinated from those initial vaccines received will be healthcare workers and residents of long-term care facilities. And as we enter the new year and throughout the rest of the winter and into the spring, we expect to have multiple phases of vaccines and working through other healthcare workers, first responders, essential workers, the elderly, and those with certain underlying healthcare conditions, and before it's opened up to the general public, and which we expect towards the spring.
The anticipated eventuality is COVID-19 vaccines will be available through doctors' offices, health clinics, and pharmacies, similar to flu shots and other widely requested vaccinations. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
Flagler County Sheriff's deputies arrest 3 people in connection with a home invasion in Palm Coast. It happened over the weekend on Prospect Lane. Sheriff Rick Staley.
The suspects made a dynamic entry, including firing a shot. Fortunately, nobody was injured with the shot that was fired, but the home residents did receive injuries when they were physically attacked by these 4 invaders.
Staley says one of the victims called 911 and left the phone line open for dispatchers to hear the commotion. Upon arrival, they found a vehicle fleeing the scene.
The suspects wrecked their vehicle in Palm Coast Parkway in Colbert and fled on foot. A few hours later, after an extensive search, 3 of the 4 suspects were apprehended. One literally, our K-9 took a bite out of crime when the suspect refused to surrender.
Those arrested include 34-year-old Carlos Dupree and 2 teenage boys ages 15 and 16. A 4th suspect remains on the loose, though Staley says there's not an ongoing threat to the community.
This was not a random selected location. It was obviously an attempt for a drug ripoff.
You can now interact with the City of Palm Coast's planning efforts. Karen Johnson has the details.
Residents and businesses now have new mapping tools to know about work projects happening in the City of Palm Coast. Brad West is the Senior Communications Officer for Palm Coast.
So the team recently added a development project map, a capital projects map, and an updated swales maintenance map. These maps make for a real easy way for residents and businesses to just easily see what's going on around them.
Not only is the map user-friendly, it's also dynamic. It will adapt to whatever device is used to access it. Plus, the yellow stars identify active applications, indicating projects going through the planning process to get approvals, which could be technical site plans, preliminary plats, and a subdivision master plan. Red stars indicate approved projects for basic infrastructure-type construction, such as clearing land, plumbing, and working toward vertical construction or building from the ground up. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
The Flagler County Commission voted unanimously last night to approve a $20 million loan from Center State Bank to finance a new 51,000 square foot Sheriff's Office Operations Center in Bunnell. A groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9, and Flagler County Administrator Jerry Cameron says the new Sheriff's Office Operations Center has everything the sheriff needs today and in the future.
We think that we've hit the sweet spot. We're going to give something that will serve the sheriff well immediately and probably accommodate most of what he needs to do for a decade.
Cameron said that with the county's growth from outsiders moving in, the sheriff's department has to grow to keep up. To listen to the interview, download the Flagler radio app and go to the Free for All Friday podcast. Tomorrow, the sheriff talks about the building's new location. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Rich Carroll.
Can't have a parade without Santa.
And Santa will be the main event at the end of the pandemic-safe drive-through Christmas parade happening today at Bunnell Elementary. Donnell Evanson is the school's assistant principal.
We're going to have our chorus group is going to be singing, and that will be part of the parade that they drive through. And then there will be a section where different staff members will have their cars decorated for holiday-type themes, and hopefully have some blow-up decorations for families to see as they drive through as well. And we'll hand them activities that they can do for reading at home, along with some gifts to go along with that, such as light up rings and slap bracelets.
The drive-through parade kicks off at 5 p.m. at the front entrance, and cars will drive around the school where the buses usually park until they see Santa at the end. And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.